Okay, turn it up. Lights. Stage is set.
All speakers ready?
Sound recording. Camera roll. We're going live in 3, 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, take a look at this image right here. What exactly do you see? It's quite obvious that this is a blackberry fruit. But when we think of a blackberry, most of us obviously think of the fruit. But how about the company? In this generation, it's considered niche to know the company BlackBerry. Let's take a look at what actually happened. In 1984, RIM, also known as Research in Motion, was founded. It was building smart tech tools, then moving into mobile devices. A few years later, the BlackBerry handset became popular. It had a physical keyboard and had the ability to send and receive emails. But then, in 2007, a challenger appeared. Steve Jobs announces the iPhone. It had a touchscreen that was a game changer, and this was challenging the BlackBerry. A year later, there was an attempt to position the BlackBerry as competition to the iPhone. Unfortunately, that failed. This is because the product had bugs and poor user experience. This led to years of failing market share and product delays. Leadership was changed in an unsuccessful attempt. It faced huge unsold inventory and major job cuts. In the end, BlackBerry effectively died after more than 3 decades of selling iPhones and shifted into enterprise service. Now, the reason why BlackBerry died was not because it was a bad company, but because it didn't evolve. In life, you either evolve or you die. Whether it is corporate or individual, nobody wants to be like BlackBerry. Nobody wants to be considered a failure, and nobody wants to be considered having wasted potential. In that case, how exactly do we live? Because in life, we want to be the best versions of ourselves, which means to keep on living and develop a growth mindset. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Shafa Maharani Lubis, and today I'll be teaching you to learn how to live. Believe it or not, learning to live is easy. Here's an acronym to make it easier for us to remember. First, we have the letter L. L stands for listen. L means to hear people's advice. It means to hear people's criticism. It means to hear people's feedback as well as ideas. It means to be someone open-minded. By listening to verified sources, you're able to learn and observe new lessons, even if you don't like it. We've all been to the beach. These are my shells. I collected them. Collecting shells is something I'm familiar with. But something I'm not familiar with is bodyboarding. Bodyboarding is something I'm not used to, and I've never been bodyboarding before at that time. But I listened to my friend's advice who encouraged me to give it a go, and I was willing to try something new. That was me being open-minded. And me being open-minded was something unlike the leadership of BlackBerry, who refused to listen to his marketing team and change business courses. I developed a new skill. Meanwhile, he lost his multi-million-dollar company. Next, we have the letter I. I stands for inquire. Inquire means to ask the right questions and investigate the answers yourself. It means to become an inquirer. By asking the right questions and acceding suitable feedback, you're able to explore new pathways and experiences. For me, I ask questions from an expert about the basics of bodyboarding. Because bodyboarding is something new and I didn't know how to start, I had to ask questions. And that was me being an inquirer. I learned how to hold the board, I learned about timing, and I learned what are considered good or bad waves. Me being an inquirer is something unlike BlackBerry, who didn't ask the right questions and did not act upon the information that they got. Next, we have the letter V. V stands for venture. Venture means to step out of your comfort zone and try new things. By venturing outside the comfort zone, you're able to learn new skills and broaden experience and start to develop a growth mindset. At first, I didn't seem that terrified of bodyboarding. I mean, it's just going on the ocean. But when I actually stepped inside, I was terrified. The ocean was higher than I am. It was up here. This is the ocean level. And I was afraid that I might drown. But eventually, I gained the courage and gave it a go. That was me being a risk taker. And because of that, I became more self-confident. Even though I failed multiple times, I fell off the board, I made mistakes, I gleaned at the best elements of the whole experience, and hence, I had fun. I gained a new skill. Me being a risk taker is something unlike BlackBerry, again, who refused to step out of their comfort zone, choosing instead to rely too much on their previously successful product. Lastly, we have the last letter, E. E means evolve. Evolve means to adapt and become successful. It means to see yourself develop as an individual. By being reflective and appreciating strengths and weaknesses, you start to see yourself develop as an individual. My reflection in bodyboarding was that I noticed my strengths and weakness. My strengths, timing, catching good waves. My weakness, control of direction and speed. I kept on losing control of the board, falling off multiple times, almost hitting people. But hey, at least I understand now that I understand my weakness. I know what to improve on. Now let's do a little recap. L stands for lesson. It means to hear feedback, criticism, and ideas. I means inquire. It means to ask questions and investigate the answers yourself. V, venture, means to step out of your comfort zone and try new things. And E, evolve, reflect on your experience and understand your strengths and weakness. Now, all of this, learning to live, is something that BlackBerry didn't do. Unlike BlackBerry, who didn't listen, who didn't inquire, nor who they didn't venture, they were unable to evolve, and hence, they died. BlackBerry not evolving was 4 decades ago. My evolution was around a year ago. Let's bring up something that's quite current. On December, just last year, the BBC said that Donald Trump, apparently he's a big thing, referred to the UN saying they should adapt or die. The statement, adapt or die, that is a universal truth because it still applies till this day. So now you know. By venturing beyond the familiar, in my case, by experiencing bodyboarding, one is able to live. Your previously recognized skills are completely irrelevant. What matters now are the new talents and skills that will allow you to evolve as an individual. Whether in business, personal, familial, or social environment, ask yourself this. Are you going to evolve or are you going to die? Thank you.